Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to KT Garage. In this video, I'm going to show you how to change the injector of the Fox Body Mustang 5.0 liter. I've done a much longer video to include some of the other things that I'm changing. In this video, I'm focusing on just to show you how to change the injector, whatever reason that you have that you need to change the injectors. My objective is trying to improve the idling at cold start and idling in general, and the car wasn't running too well. So I'm changing the injector, a few sensors, and I'm deleting the entire EGR system. In this video, I'll focus on just the injector, so the video could be a lot shorter for you. So at first, I'm going to take the upper intake manifold out, fuel rails, to get to the injectors. I'll show you the step-by-step on how to get that swap over. Well guys, as soon as I took the throttle body out, you can see looking nasty. I don't even know how this stuff gets in there. It's like all over the place. And let me see, you look inside, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's like fluid inside the upper intake manifold. So that can't be good. That looks crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna go and clean all this out. Okay, so I got the upper intake manifold out. I unplugged a bunch of stuff, just mostly vacuum lines and electrical connections. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to switch out the ACT, or the air charge temperature sensor. And I believe that it is sitting right here. That's where the sensor is. So to change it, you just get this plug out and then replace the sensor. Not that big of a deal. Now, what I really want to do though is to change the injectors as well. Looking at it, it's seen better days. I mean, you can see that it looks quite old, and from the way the upper intake manifold look, it hasn't been taken out for many years. So the injector probably partially plugged up, so I'm going to go ahead and replace them. I order them. It's going to come in a couple of days. We'll get that swapped out. But for today, I'm going to start pulling the injectors out and get it ready for when the injector comes. Now, before you pull the injector though, or take the fuel rails out. So anyway, to get the injectors out with this right here, all you need to do is just unplug the connection to the injector, and then after that you remove the bolt. There's I think there's only two that bolting the fuel rails down, but before that, be very careful and relieve the fuel pressure, because the fuel pressure is still present. And if you look down here somewhere, there's a thing that looks like the valve in your tire. There you go. So you just stick something inside and see if any fuel comes out. Make sure it's not high pressure, because it could have 60-70 pounds of pressure in there. I know, get all the car, damaging the car. It could hurt you with the pressure release. So make sure you do that. Okay, so let's find out if there's any fuel pressure in there, and make sure you wear glasses for this. I'm just gonna stick something in here and see if any fuel that kind of spray out. Nothing, which is good. Okay, so it's totally depressurized. We're ready to take the fuel rails out. All right, so here's an update. I got all the injectors out. You can see that this is the fuel rail right here, and this is the mounting bolt right here. You just unbolt it and pull it straight up to get the injectors out. Injectors are sealing on here. It's just a push-in O-ring that they're sealing. So yeah, pretty much that's done. Now the injector goes in here. You can see this ports right here. I went in and I cleaned them out real good. Make sure it's nice and clean, because it does need to have a good seal when you put the new injectors on there. Same thing on this side. It's a little more open on this side. Easier to work with. That's the fuel rails right here. Injector, electricals, and then these are the ports right here for the injector. Very self-explanatory. Just make sure you clean up real good. I did what I could in here. Just a bunch of nasty junk in there. And this is the ACT sensor right here we were looking at earlier. So it was on the driver's side. I'm standing on the driver's side right now. It's towards the front, and it's under the intake manifold. The upper intake manifold is right there. It takes a 1-inch socket to remove them. You just stick it right on. Now check this out. This is the ACT sensor. This is the one that I replaced. You can see how bad this looks. I mean, I don't think this thing is working at all. It's all carbon black on there, so that's probably why it's not idling correctly. Got my new sensor. I'm gonna put this in, torque it up, and then we're good to go. Well, here it is, guys. The ACT already been torqued. I think I torqued it up around maybe 20-25 foot-pounds, something like that. It's the NPT connection, so you don't need to tighten it super tight, because you might have to take that out one day. I'm not gonna hook this up yet, because I need access to here to get my injectors in. So now just waiting for the injector to come in, and then we'll button everything up. All right, so the injectors come in. I got this from LMR. I think I paid $250 something for all 8. Now, these you can go to Amazon and get them for probably $60 or so. I advise you guys don't do it. Those are, I don't know how long it's gonna last. It doesn't look all that robust, and I really don't know anything about them, but you know, you can trust going to LMR and buy a good brand. So I will include the part number for these so you know where to get them. They should be pretty reliable for what you're trying to do with the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this installed. Okay, so installing these are super simple. All you really do is just make sure you have this facing up where the electronic connections are. There's an O-ring here. You just press it down and make sure you apply quite a bit of force. You can hear them click. I'm probably gonna need 2 hands for that, but basically you push this down until you hear it clicks a little bit. Make sure it's fully seated, and do this for all 8 ports. Okay, so I got all 8 in, and there's no drama here. It comes right in. You just, you know, you do need 2 hands for this. So you line them up real good and you push it in. It should bottom out. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just trying to get the fuel rails back on. You just try to line them up as much as you can, and then get them all lined up, and then you just like push it down, and it should come down naturally. You know, with a little bit of persuasion, just keep pushing it down. All right, I get it in. And what I did was, after I lined up all the injectors with the fuel rail, I used one of these to kind of tap on top of where the injector is. You know, this is actually rubberized. So either this or you can use a mallet, but I figured this is a little lighter. I don't want to put too much force on it, so I just simply tap on it like that, one at a time, and it comes right in. And it's I'm at the point where the holes are lined up, and we'll put this 2 bolts back. Let's see here, and I'm gonna torque that up. It's like so. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it up and bolt it down, and you're done with this side. And basically just plug your electronics back on one at a time. And here's your ACT sensor right here. You need to plug that up, and then you're done on the driver's side, basically. All right, so this side doesn't really give me a hard time either. It comes right in. You just need to tap it in, and they all came in. They're locked in by a couple of bolts, and you're done. So 8 of my injectors are in, ready to go. So moving on to the next reassembly. We guys, the heater core rubber lines comes in. So I went ahead and put it in. It's real straightforward. They're 2 different sizes, so you really can't mix them up. So that went in. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. So at this point, I can go ahead and start putting the upper intake manifold in. This piece of tape really helped to keep all the junk out while I'm working on the other components. So now's the time to get it out. So nice and clean. I already cleaned this real good before I put the tape on. Okay, so be real careful with all the vacuum lines. Make sure you hook up just the way you found it. There's a vacuum line that runs into the front, and then back here there's a couple of vacuum lines that runs back here, and there's one main one that runs to the brake booster. So make sure you get all that reconnected. And so at this time I'm gonna start bolting the upper intake manifold to the lower intake manifold, and it's gonna take 18 to 22 foot-pounds. I'm gonna hit it with 22 foot-pounds. Just make sure that you tighten the bolt sequentially and not You gotta cross them and not to tie two of them together at one time. All right, I got everything reassembled. You can see that this EGR bracket is still here, but you got a block plate that's sitting right over there. And let's see, I got a new throttle position sensor just because the clip broke off from here. I just thought I got a new one. Let's see what else. Everything else is reassembled just the way it was. The linkage is down this way. It's right here. You kind of just pop them on. And this is an aftermarket intake system, so I just reassemble it. Oh guys, it's running so much better. I mean, it's so much smoother. No problem with cold start anymore. It hesitated a little bit because I didn't have any fuel in the system, but when it started, it runs great. I checked for fuel leak and everything, and there's no leaking, so it should be good. Well, I drove around the block, and the engine is so much more powerful. There's no more hesitation, and the car starts right up. Now, it did hesitate a little bit at first because all the fuel was out of my system when I changed the fuel injector. So, but as long as the fuel pump get the fuel into the car, it starts right up and it stays on. Before I have to baby the accelerator pedal for probably 30 seconds or so. Now it's just like it stays running. And it idle at a much lower idling speed. I think it's around maybe 700-800 RPMs. Very stable. Love it. So I'm not sure what really fixed the problem. Was it the ACT sensor? Was it the throttle sensor? Or was it the injectors? But those are, or the whole air pump system. And I just kind of just took everything out and then plug out all the vacuum. There might be some vacuum leak that was happening, but the process of me doing it took care of the problem. So there could be multiple things, but you know, if you're gonna go through and do exactly what I did, you're gonna just get rid of that whole problem altogether. The car is running so much smoother. I appreciate you guys tuning in to KT Garage. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.